All right, what's going on, guys? So today I'm going to be going over, can you actually increase your punching power? And if you stay to the end of the video, I'm actually going to give you some exercises that were going to enhance your capabilities of punching more powerfully. Let's do it. What's going on, guys? So today I'm going to go over the age-old question, can you increase punching power? Now, I know that a lot of quote-unquote old school coaches say that you cannot increase this. This is genetically given to you. But I'm here to tell you that I have a few things that you can take with you to understand that this is a possibility. So what I'm going to do is go over the three major factors. Now, the three major factors is going to be one, obviously it's your genetics, and I will agree with them on that. The second one is going to be your technique, how well you can produce force with the technique that you're given and what you're practicing. And then lastly is going to be your physical attributes, how well you can train to get more power, to get more force production, and to increase your overall speed. So when you talk about genetics, you're talking about limb length, you're talking about the appropriate genetics that you get or are given from a fast twitch muscle fiber perspective. The faster your muscles have the ability to produce force, the more power you're gonna actually have, okay? So you are given that. So that also depends on your fiber count of fast twitch fibers, whether it be type 2A or type 2X. If you have that, you're gonna be able to produce more power and more overall force just entirely from a genetic standpoint. Now, number two is gonna be technique. Having the ability to create functional rotation, getting precision and timing on hand, and then also knowing how to bone stack, right? Knowing how to place your punches appropriately where they stack the bones to where you can produce as much force and not be in a bad position when you have to produce a strike, okay? Now, from the physical perspective, our physicality is gonna be key. We can also work into this. Now, what we're gonna be focusing on is force production. We're also gonna be focusing on speed and overall velocity. We also want to look at mobility and stability, and how we're going to utilize that is through certain modalities and methods of training that are going to enhance those properties. Now, with force production, you can work in maximal effort or isometrics, right? Being able to create force, getting stronger throughout the entire body through different functional patterns or movements that have higher correlation over to the sport, right? So you can work in your legs, your hips, your back, your shoulders, and triceps. These are muscles that you're gonna need to get stronger from a force production standpoint to allow you to create a powerful punch. You can also work in that maximal effort, right? Maximal effort meaning 1 rep max or 90% plus. That's gonna allow you to produce that force as efficiently as possible to give you the strength necessary to produce that power overall. Now, before you go ahead and do that, you also have to take a look at your overall speed and velocity. With that, you need to be able to create force fast, right? So in order to produce power, power equals force times velocity. We need to make sure that we have that velocity set in. So you're gonna use things like jumps, like throws, something with a faster dynamic movement that is going to elicit a higher velocity response. Now, mobility and stability, right? We wanna make sure that we have proper rotation of the hips, the shoulders, and we also want to make sure that our trunk, our rotator of the trunk, our transverse plane rotation, that's going to be important because that's going to allow you to gain that range and have that whip effect when you go to throw your punches. Stability at the end range is also going to be important because you want to make sure that the muscles that cross that joint have the stability appropriately built in so that when you go to throw your strikes, it's a stiff end range punch. We're going to go over several different exercises from the mobility, from the strength, from the power, and overall stability to enhance the qualities to give you a stronger or more powerful punch. All right, so I'm here to say that yes, although the genetics play a big role, although the technique plays a big role, you can increase your punching power through proper training. Let's get after it. All right, guys, so now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go over each section, right? Mobility, I'm gonna do some speed strength, I'm gonna do some explosive power movements, and then I'm also gonna go ahead and do some core stability and shoulder stability work too as well that you can implement in to help with your punching power. So first we're gonna go ahead and just work on some controlled articular rotations of the hip capsule. I've done plenty of videos in the past about mobility of the hips and the shoulders. So I'm just gonna run through a couple of them that I like to do just to get my body ready. So the first one is gonna be a quadruped hip circle. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna get into all fours and we're gonna just circle our hips. So you're gonna go knee up to the chest. You're gonna rotate it out, internally rotate it, bring it up, back in, and then back around, big rotation, trying to get as much range of motion as possible. You'll do 3 reps of those, back and forth. So up, out, in, back out, around, back in. So I'll do the other side. Up, want to maintain position. You don't want to round the back too much or extend the back. So we're gonna open up and back around, right? Open up that hip capsule. Then from there, we're gonna do what's called book openers, which is gonna open up the upper back, the chest, the shoulder area. So you're gonna take a roller. We're gonna place our knee on the roller here. From here, I'm gonna go ahead and open my body up. So I'm gonna go ahead and slide. Slide open, looking at my arm, keeping my knee on the roller. Back around. Make sure you exhale. Breathe in. Exhale. Okay, you can do 3 reps there on each side as well. All right, so now I'm gonna show you one power movement that I like to do with a heavier med ball. This is gonna enhance that triple extension. It's gonna work on glute and hip tie-in, so you're gonna be able to explode through, get that extension of the hips, which is important when you're trying to throw your strike. I'm gonna take the ball underneath my arm, wrap it in my forearms. I'm gonna drop down into a hinge position, and then over my head, throw it as far as I can. So what I'm gonna do is up and out. So as I dip down into a hinge, right, almost like that kettlebell swing, we're gonna come down and then open up and throw through. So here, all right, now we're moving on to speed strength, right? So now we're getting a little bit more on that force velocity curve, a little bit higher up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a band here, and what the band's gonna do is it's gonna allow me to get that stretch reflex. It's gonna allow me to get more of an overload or an overspeed eccentric, which is going to enhance that stretch shortening cycle, which is going to enhance my ability to rapidly contract and relax as fast as possible. So kettlebell on, we're wrapping that band over the kettlebell handle, like so. You can get a heavy band. Again, the band really is dependent upon your abilities, right? Kettlebell, same thing. For me, I like to make sure that I'm getting a lighter kettlebell than band tension, right? Because again, we're working on that speed strength. We wanna make sure that we're getting that rapid redirection. So I'm coming down fast and redirecting force again. So here we go. And through, hips through. You wanna go for about 3 to 4 sets. Roughly 4 to 6 reps. All right, so now we're gonna move on to the kettlebell arm bar. Now this is gonna help with rotation, and it's also gonna help with stability of the shoulder itself. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a fairly heavy kettlebell. Again, go with what you're comfortable with. And I'm gonna lie back. I'm gonna take the kettlebell. I'm gonna pull it towards my chest. I'm gonna have the bell sitting on my forearm. From here, I'm gonna go ahead and press up, locking my shoulder down. I'm gonna take the same side leg, place my hand, rotate the knee over, driving my hip into the floor. From there, I'm just gonna maintain stability. I'm gonna lock in my lat. I'm gonna get external rotation of the shoulder. I'm gonna maintain that positioning right there. From there, I'm gonna go ahead and contract my obliques, right, and my lat itself. And I'm breathing into the position. Switch, other side, same thing. Press, lock the lat down, hand, rotate. So you wanna do about 3 to 5 inhalation, exhalations with the kettlebell up over your head. Then repeat that 3 to 5 times, depending on how much volume you wanna do. But again, this is something that you wanna do either prior to your training or directly after as a finisher. So 2 ways you can go about doing it, especially from an activation standpoint. I like doing it as an activation, but I also like to do it as a finisher to get me prepared for either the next session or just to maintain that level of correction. All right, so now we're gonna do another anti-rotation exercise. This is gonna be a band chop, but you can also do it with a cable. So I took a band, a mini band. Again, you can get the bands from EliteFTS.com, RogueFitness.com, a bunch of different places. Especially good for when you don't have access to a gym. Man, get yourself some bands. So what I did here is attach the mini band, and then from here, I'm gonna straighten my arms out. I'm half kneeling, and I'm gonna go ahead and rotate or just pull that band over my knee. Maintaining position here in my trunk. I'm not rotating here, I'm just getting the arms and I'm pulling them closer to midline. And I'm maintaining position as much as I can. You'll feel it in your obliques, your transverse abdominals. When you do that anti-rotation exercise, remember you're enhancing the strength there and the stability of your transverse abdominals, your obliques, and your adductor. So that's why I like the half kneeling position, because all that stuff ties in, especially if you're trying to throw your hooks and your overhands. Like, rotation is gonna be necessary, right? You're gonna need to produce that force from that rotational plane or that transverse plane. Again, doing these, increasing the strength and stability of the muscles that help you rotate is gonna be highly important. Try it out. Let's do 3 to 4 sets, roughly 10 to 12 repetitions on this one, a little bit higher volume. There you have it. Those are some exercises. The functionality, the movement, the control, the technique, the genetics, all that does play a role in increasing your punching powers. Again, it can be trained. You also need the genetic makeup for all things. If you're trying to be a knockout artist, you gotta weigh the options. For the most part, let's train hard, let's get after it. Make sure that you're doing the right things, eating the right ways, getting stronger, use a proper programming. If you wanna learn more about programming, if you wanna learn more about my methods and protocols that I use for my boxers, check out my own mentorship program that is online, available. It's a one-time fee, you'll get access for life. Check it out, link is in the description. But if you're a fighter and you wanna use some of these exercises in your own training, check out Heavy Hitter, it's also in the link in the description. That's an 8-week program, boxing, strength and conditioning, that is going to enhance your abilities to have more powerful punching. Check it out. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification if you haven't done so. I'll see you again next time. Peace.